I spent years grinding to build a $20 million tech empire from my dorm room coding sessions, sacrificing sleep, relationships, everything so my family could live comfortably. When Dad started forgetting where he parked his car and leaving the stove on, I was the only one who actually did something. My siblings? They were too busy with their fancy city jobs and perfect Instagram lives. I thought that kind of loyalty would earn me some respect. Instead, at his 68th birthday block party in the middle of Oakwood Estates, surrounded by every nosy neighbor and the entire HOA board, my own father pointed straight at me and slurred, "Pack your things and get out. You parasite. This isn't your home anymore." The crowd erupted in awkward applause like they were at a bad stand-up show. And the HOA president, Barb Harrington, clapped the loudest, her fake pearls bouncing like she just won the neighborhood lottery. I stepped outside, pulled out my phone, and hit send on the email I'd been drafting for months. My name is Rachel Carter. At 34, I'd already built Carter Digital Solutions into a 3-state powerhouse with 200 employees and a valuation that made venture capitalists drool. But success feels hollow when your mom dies of cancer weighing 90 pounds and her last words are, "Take care of your father. Rachel, he won't know how to live without me." Mom was gone in 18 brutal months. Dad, Martin Carter, the guy who taught me balance sheets before I could ride a bike, couldn't remember to pay the electric bill or even buy groceries. I find him at 3 a.m., staring at old photo albums, asking why Mom wasn't home yet. My brother Derek texted from Chicago. "He's just grieving. Ratch, give him time. When was the last time you actually saw him?" I fired back. Crickets. My sister Lauren's excuse was always geography. Portland's too far. The kids have soccer. My husband can't get PTO. Classic. So when Dad's doctor mentioned early cognitive decline, I did what nobody else would. I promoted my COO to interim CEO, set up remote protocols, sold my Denver loft, and drove 6 hours back to Oakwood Estates, the cookie-cutter gated hellhole with its 47-page HOA rulebook that Barb Harrington ruled like a dictator in pastel capris. The community was idyllic, they said in the welcome packet. Translation: grass exactly 2.5 inches, only approved beige paint colors, no more than 2 political flags, and God forbid your trash can stays out past 8 a.m. Barb had been HOA president for 8 years, winning every election by scaring residents with fines for unsightly yard gnomes or non-compliant holiday lights. She called herself the guardian of property values. Everyone else called her Karen 2.0 behind her back. Well, I pulled my U-Haul into Dad's driveway. He looked 80 instead of 67, wearing the same cardigan Mom bought him. "Rachel," he blinked. "What are you doing here?" I hugged him and whispered, "I'm home, Dad, for as long as you need me." His shoulders shook with relief that smelled like loneliness and Old Spice. For 6 months, we found a rhythm. I turned Mom's sewing room into my office, ran board meetings via Zoom at night, and spent mornings shuttling Dad to appointments while dodging HOA violation notices taped to our door like parking tickets from hell. Lawn height violation, $1.50. Visible storage bins in driveway, $1.75. Barb's favorite hobby. I paid them quietly. Dad didn't need the stress. Afternoons he napped while I coded. Evenings we burned Mom's recipes and laughed at the smoke alarms. Derek and Lauren's reactions were predictable. Derek sent a snarky group text. "Don't martyr yourself. Rachel, no one asked you to play nurse." Lauren posted passive-aggressive Facebook memes about family members who make grand gestures for attention. Neither visited. But the second I mentioned updating Dad's will to reflect that I was his full-time caregiver, suddenly they cared. "That house is worth $1.8 million in this market," Derek reminded me. "We all have equal claim. Then come help." I replied. Silence. I didn't want their money. I wanted Dad to die in his own bed with dignity. not in some state facility because the HOA decided he was non-compliant. Some things matter more than equity valuations. But when money and power mix, family turns into a very flexible concept, especially in Oakwood Estates, where Barb Harrington treated the rulebook like her personal Bible and the residence like her personal ATM. The wedding announcement came on a random Thursday. Dad shuffled into my office holding hands with Barb Harrington herself, both grinning like teenagers who'd just discovered TikTok. "Rachel, meet my fiancé. We're getting married next month." I nearly dropped my laptop. Barb, 52, bleached blonde helmet hair, dental receptionist smile that never reached her eyes, extended a manicured hand the color of dried blood. "Your father has told me so much about the successful daughter who came back to help. How wonderful." They'd met at the monthly HOA garden club. She'd been so understanding about his loss. Coffee turned to dinner, turned to love in record time. "It's been over a year since Eleanor passed," Dad said, sounding rehearsed. The wedding was rushed and tiny, just family and a few board members. Derek flew in for 24 hours, gave Barb an approving once-over, and pulled me aside. "This is great. Now Dad won't be so dependent on you. You can go back to your real life." Lauren arrived late, stayed at the Hilton, and spent the reception gushing. "You're exactly what this community needs. Barb, someone to bring order back to this old house." Old house. Mom's house. The one where Barb immediately replaced Mom's handmade curtains with approved beige, HOA-compliant gold monstrosities and packed away family photos to make room for her collection of porcelain angels. "Your mother had interesting taste," Barb told me one morning, holding Mom's china teapot like it had cooties. "So vintage. I prefer modern things myself." I bit my tongue while she asked innocent questions. "This house must be worth a fortune now. The market's hot. Ever had it appraised? Or those senior communities are like resorts these days?" I started noticing things. How her eyes lingered on the Persian rug. How she'd help with Dad's medications. "Oh, Martin, you don't need all those pills. Try my special herbal wellness tea. It's much more natural." The tea made him drowsy, confused, worse than usual. "Dad seems off," I told Derek on a rare call. "He's adjusting to married life," he snapped. "Stop hovering. Rachel, you're always so dramatic." I wasn't hovering the day. I came home early and caught Barb giving a private tour to a developer in a suit. 3 bedrooms upstairs, 2 baths, gorgeous open floor plan, perfect for teardown and new builds, she was saying. I demanded answers. Barb didn't even flinch. "Just a friend from book club. He's in real estate. Good to know our options." "Options for what?" "Well, this house is so big for just us." And with Martin's condition, that night Dad was confused again. Barb had given him extra tea for his agitation. The alliance between Barb, Derek, and Lauren solidified fast. Group texts I wasn't on. Hush calls that stopped when I walked in. Lauren started visiting more, always with gifts for Barb and comments about how hard it must be managing Martin's condition. "What condition?" I asked. "Mild cognitive decline," she said sweetly. "We need to be practical." "Rachel, practical like the power of attorney paperwork," Barb was pushing. Or the way she limited Dad's phone time. Too much stimulation confuses him. Or the fake doctor appointments she scheduled during my critical Zoom calls. The breaking point was finding her in Mom's jewelry box, holding the pearl necklace Mom wore to my graduation. "Martin said I could have these." "Put it back. I'm his wife now. These are mine." Her smile turned venomous. "More than you, apparently." The daughter who abandoned her big career to play caretaker and pressure a sick old man about his will. That's when I realized this wasn't about love. It was a hostile takeover with HOA fines as the weapon. And I was the only one standing in the way. The first time I caught them red-handed was a Tuesday afternoon. I'd told Barb I'd be in Boulder for a board meeting until evening, but ended early. I parked down the street and slipped through Mom's rose garden with Thai takeout. Voices drifted from the kitchen window. "We need her out before the lawyer comes," Derek was saying. "If she sees the paperwork, she'll make a scene." "Working on it," Barb replied. "But your sister's like a damn guard dog, always watching, always suspicious." Then we get smarter. "Dad's getting worse, right? The tea helps. Natural sedatives. Nothing harmful, just enough to keep him compliant." My stomach flipped. I pressed against the wall and hit record on my phone. Derek continued. "The HOA assessment is scheduled next week. Dr. Morrison will declare him incompetent. I activate the POA. We slap the liens for all those violation fines. And Calvin already has 3 cash buyers lined up. Quit closing by Christmas." Barb laughed. "And once Martin's in the facility, Rachel has no reason to stay." Problem solved. I slipped away, hands shaking. In the car, I called Dad's real doctor, not this Morrison character. "Mr. Carter missed his last 2 appointments," the nurse said. "Mrs. Harrington called to cancel. Said you switched providers." Everything clicked. The drowsiness, the confusion, the T-bar guarded like state secrets. They were drugging my father so the HOA could foreclose on non-compliant property and pocket the proceeds. That evening, I played dumb at dinner, smiling while Barb poured Dad's special tea from a different pot. "Remember that fishing trip we talked about, Dad? This weekend." His eyes lit up. Barb's smile tightened. "Oh, Martin gets so confused about dates. You have that appointment Saturday." "Honey, what appointment?" I asked innocently. "Just a checkup." She patted his hand. I'd already texted Uncle Henry, Dad's brother, former insurance investigator. Sharp as a tack. "Something's very wrong," I told him. "I need your help." Henry arrived Thursday unannounced. Barb's face went ghost white. "Henry, what a surprise." He pushed past her and found Dad in the living room. "Marty, you look terrible. Were they feeding you?" For the first time in months, Dad really laughed. With Henry there, Barb couldn't force the tea. I overheard her on the phone later. "I don't like this. He's asking questions." Good. Let her sweat. Friday morning, while Barb was at her book club, actually meetings with developer Calvin Brooks, Henry and I took Dad to Dr. Richards, our family physician for 20 years. "Mrs. Harrington told me you switched providers," Dr. Richards said, concerned. We ran a full blood panel. While we waited, Henry had Dad sign new dual power of attorney documents with an out-of-town lawyer. Both Rachel and Henry had to agree on major decisions. The lawyer videotaped everything, establishing competency. The blood work came back, benzodiazepines and sedatives. "This is elder abuse," Dr. Richards said grimly. "Not yet," I told him. "We need more evidence." That night, I installed hidden cameras, perfectly legal in Dad's own house with his consent. Henry kept Barb distracted with old investigator stories while I worked. Saturday arrived, the appointment Barb had mentioned. "Where are we going?" Dad asked as she tried to guide him to the car. "Just a drive?" "Honey." Derek's BMW pulled up with a folder and Dr. Morrison in tow. "Actually, I stepped out front. Dad's not going anywhere today." Derek's face darkened. "Rachel, stop interfering. This is for Dad's own good. Drugging him is for his own good." I asked. Barb gasped. "How dare you? I have the blood work, the recordings, everything." Derek went pale. Morrison excused himself fast. Lauren appeared from the car. "The house needs too much work. Dad can't maintain it. A facility would be better." "Better for who?" I shot back. "You each get $700,000 from the sale, right? Is that the going rate for selling your father these days?" I was done playing defense. Tomorrow's Dad's birthday. The whole community will be there, and so will my lawyers. That Saturday night, I sat in my office until 3 a.m. On speaker with Jack Monroe, old college friend turned elder law shark. "Rachel, this is serious," he said, reviewing my files. "Drugging, financial exploitation, conspiracy, HOA liens used as weapons. Barb could face criminal charges. Derek might lose his license if he's involved in the POA fraud. I don't want to destroy them, I said. I just want to protect Dad. Sometimes those are the same thing. Uncle Henry was already digging. What he found was gold. Barb Harrington wasn't even her real name. She'd been Barbara Lang, Barbara Klein, and Barbara Voss in 3 different states over 15 years, always targeting widowers in HOA communities, always disappearing before charges stuck. She's good, Henry admitted. Never stayed long enough to get caught. But this time she got greedy. Your dad's house plus the developer kickbacks is worth more than all her previous marks combined. We worked the weekend. Jack flew in with a criminal elder abuse specialist. Henry contacted old colleagues for Barb's paper trail. I compiled recordings, blood work, suspicious transfers from Dad's accounts to an LLC controlled by Derek's firm. Nearly $300,000 already siphoned as HOA management fees. Jack whistled. Your brother's been bleeding him dry. The real preparation was emotional. In Dad's clear moments, I explained everything. The betrayal in his eyes when he realized the T and Barb's help nearly broke me. I thought it was helping, he whispered. She said it was helping. I know. Dad, it's not your fault. Derek knew. I couldn't lie. He aged 10 years in that moment. My own son. Monday came. Barb bustled around preparing for the birthday block party like nothing happened. Jack and his colleague turned the guest room into a war room. Henry stationed himself in Dad's study. You sure you want to do this publicly? Jack asked. They humiliated him last year, I said, remembering the laughter at his senior moments. They deserve the same. I'd invited everyone, Dad's old golf buddies, neighbors who'd watched me grow up, even the retired judge who used to play bridge with Mom. If Barb and Derek wanted to paint Dad as incompetent, they'd do it in front of people who knew better. The cameras were rolling to the cloud. Jack had cease and desist letters, emergency guardianship papers, and criminal complaints ready. Rachel, Dad said that morning, clearer than he'd been in months without the tea. Whatever happens today, I'm proud of you. Your mother would be proud too. Save the speeches for tonight. I hugged him. We're getting through this. Barb cornered me in the kitchen around noon, her smile sharp as broken glass. I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're only hurting your father. The papers are signed. The evaluation is complete. Dr. Morrison confirmed incompetence. It's over. Is it? I showed her a photo Henry found. This you in Florida? The Voss widow case. Her face drained of color. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I will tonight, in front of everyone. The doorbell rang. First guests. Barb plastered on her hostess' smile. But I saw the fear. Jack appeared. The other lawyers are here with interesting documents. 5 counts elder abuse. 3 fraud. Conspiracy for both Barb and Derek. He handed me the folder. Once we present this, no going back. I thought of every night I held Dad while he cried for Mom. Every pill Barb forced. Every time Derek chose money over blood. Good, I said. Let them burn. The hours before the party felt like the calm before a hurricane. I stood in Mom's room, still couldn't call it Barb's, and put on the navy dress from my last board meeting. It felt like armor. Downstairs, Barb's voice carried, shrill with fake cheer directing caterers she'd hired with Dad's money. Champagne and caviar turning his birthday into her show. Rachel, Dad knocked softly. Henry had helped him into his favorite suit. You okay? Sweetheart, are you? I asked. We can still cancel. No, his voice was firm. I've been a fool, but I'm not a coward. They want to treat me like I'm already dead. Let them try it while I'm standing. Guest arrived at 6. Dad's old business partners looked pleased to be invited. Neighbors who'd watched me grow up. Mom's book club friends who hugged me and whispered how much they missed her. Then the family. Lauren arrived first. Kids in matching outfits like a photo shoot. Rachel, don't you look professional? Still wearing work clothes to a party? Some of us actually work for our money, I replied. Her smile flickered. Derek walked in with his wife and a man in an expensive suit carrying a briefcase. Family lawyer, Derek said smoothly. To make sure everything's handled properly tonight. Calvin Brooks arrived next. Barb pulled him aside immediately. I watched them whisper toward the dining room where the papers waited. Uncle Henry appeared at my elbow. Jack's in position. You ready? Almost. One more guest. At 7, Barb clinked a glass. Everyone, thank you for coming to celebrate Martin's 68th in our wonderful Oakwood Estates community. Dad sat at the head, looking around at the faces, some sincere, some calculating. I sat to his right, Henry to his left, Jack near the door. The dinner was perfect because Barb needed to play devoted wife one last time. Dad didn't touch the wine she poured specially for him. Been thinking about your mother a lot today, he said suddenly. She would have loved this. To Eleanor, someone toasted. Barb's jaw tightened. Well, the past is past. We need to focus on the future. Derek stood. I think this is the perfect time. The doorbell rang. I jumped up. It was Dr. Richards and Judge Patricia Brennan. Retired but still influential. Patricia. Dad stood. Delighted. I didn't know you were coming. She kissed his cheek, then looked at Barb. You must be the new wife. I've heard so much about you. Barb's smile froze. All good, I hope. Fascinating things. Dare tried again. As I was saying, we need to discuss Dad's future. Yes, I interrupted. Standing. Let's discuss it. All of it. I pulled out the folder. Should we start with the fraudulent power of attorney? The drugging? Or maybe the $300,000 already transferred to accounts controlled by Derek's firm? The room went dead silent. Rachel, this is neither the time, Lauren hissed. When is the time, Lauren? When Dad's already in a facility. When the house is sold. When Barb disappears with her share. How dare you? Barb stood, playing wounded. I've done nothing but care for Martin. By putting sedatives in his tea, I pulled out the blood work. By scheduling fake evaluations? By bringing developers through the house while he slept off your herbal remedies? Murmurs rippled. Dad's business partners looked shocked. This is ridiculous, Derek blustered. Dad's clearly confused. He needs professional care. I'm not confused, Dad said, standing slowly. Not anymore. I know what you've been doing. So, your mother would be heartbroken. Barb grabbed Calvin's arm. We should go. Sit down, Judge Brennan said quietly. Nobody's leaving yet. The doorbell rang again. 2 police officers entered. Henry had called them. We received a report of elder abuse. The room erupted. Lauren yelling it was family business. Jennifer tugging Derek's arm. Barb dropped her mask and turned to me with pure venom. You little know, I said calmly. You did that yourself. Happy birthday. Dad. The moment shattered when Derek stood. Face flushed. This is pathetic. Rachel. Manufacturing drama because you can't stand that Dad found happiness without Mom. He turned to the guests. My sister moved back uninvited. Took over Dad's life. And now she's making wild accusations because she's about to lose control. Wild accusations? I connected my phone to the Bluetooth speaker. My brother's voice filled the room. Need her out of here before the lawyer comes, the tea helps. Natural sedatives, just enough to make him compliant. 3 interested buyers moved Dad to a facility. Gasps everywhere. Mrs. Henderson from next door covered her mouth. Dad's old partner Robert stood up slowly. Turn it off. Barb shrieked, lunging. Henry blocked her. The recording kept playing. Every damning word about the sale. The liens. The kickbacks. That's taken out of context. Derek stammered. What context makes drugging your father acceptable? Judge Brennan asked coldly. Lauren tried damage control. Everyone calm down. This is a family matter. No, Dad interrupted. Voice stronger than I'd heard in months. This stopped being a family matter when my son conspired with my wife to steal my home. He stood tall again, Martin Carter, the businessman. You thought I was weak. But I know about the money. The house viewings. All of it. Barb tried to flee. Police stepped forward. Mom, we have a court order to test Mr. Carter's blood. Elder abuse is a felony here. Calvin Brooks cracked first. I had no idea about drugging. Barb promised me the listing if I helped convince Mr. Carter. He handed his phone to police. Text proving the 2-year plan. Very interesting, the officer said. Mom, you're coming with us. Barb turned to Dad one last time. Martin, honey, tell them how confused you've been. Stop, Dad said quietly. I may have been a fool, but I'm done being your victim. Barb's mask fell completely. You pathetic old man. You were just a bank account. And there it is, Henry said with satisfaction. The real Barb Harrington, or should I say Lang. Klein. Voss. 3 states. For names. 5 elderly husbands. Police called for backup. Dare try to slip out. Sit down. Son. Judge Brennan ordered. The officers wanted to speak with him too. This is destroying our family. Lauren cried. Rachel, how could you do this in front of everyone? How could I? I faced her. How could you measure rooms and ask about property taxes while Dad was being drugged? As police led Barb out in handcuffs, she spat. This isn't over. Yes, I said. It is. Derek was taken for questioning. The dining room looked like a battlefield. Overturned chairs. Abandoned champagne. Untouched cake. Dad sank into his seat. I'm so sorry. Rachel, no apologies tonight. I sat beside him. It's still your birthday. The aftermath was swift. By Tuesday, Jack had frozen the accounts. Forensic accountant found nearly $500,000 siphoned. Your brother was methodical, Jack said. Dad, now on proper detox. Looked clear-eyed for the first time in months. Can we recover it? Most of it. Wednesday brought charges. Barb with elder abuse. Fraud. Practicing medicine without license. Calvin flipped immediately. Thursday, Derek arrived with lawyers. Haggard. We need to talk. Talk to my lawyer, I said. But Dad let him speak. In the study, Derek tried excuses. Dad stopped him cold. Get out. After frantic negotiation, Derek agreed to full restitution. $800,000 plus penalty and permanent relinquishment of any estate claim. Lauren showed up crying. How could you? In front of the children. Your children need to learn actions have consequences, I replied. She left without another word. The last time I'd see her for 3 years. By evening it was done. Funds transferred. Barb charged with 8 counts. The house felt lighter. I'm sorry about your company, Dad said in Mom's garden. I'm not. I meant it. I saved my father. That's worth more than any valuation. 2 days later, Jack called. A Boulder tech startup needed a CEO. They specifically asked for you. The story of what you did has made the rounds. I looked at Dad, pretending not to eavesdrop. Tell them I'll take the meeting. That was 6 months ago. I'm writing this from my new office in Boulder. Building something smaller, but more meaningful. Dad visits weekly. Healthy. Bringing lunch and golf stories. The house is becoming the Eleanor Carter Memorial Community Garden, open to every resident. No ridiculous rules. He's even dating a nice woman from grief support who likes him for him. Barb was arrested in Florida 3 months later running the same scam. She's serving 8 years. Derek's practice dissolved. He's now a compliance officer somewhere. Lauren tried one last time for the house money. I blocked her. Sometimes I think about the family we used to be before greed poisoned everything. But you can't go backward. Last week, Dad called just to say thank you for believing he was worth saving, for fighting when everyone else gave up. I love you. Dad, I love you too. Rachel. And in the end, that's all that matters. Not the money, not the house, not even the justice, just the real kind of love. The kind that stands guard when darkness comes calling. The kind that saves you when you can't save yourself. Thanks for listening. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment. If this HOA Karen story hit home, smash that subscribe button and share. Your support means everything. And remember, family isn't about blood or property values. It's about who shows up when you need them most.